Hi everyone, I'm Bebe.
And I'm Merkay.
And welcome to our Path of Fire 1-year anniversary video.
Today we're going to talk about Path of Fire and how our views have changed over the year.
If this is your first time here and you want to keep updated on story and game updates, as well as laugh at our misadventures, start now by hitting the subscribe button and clicking the bell icon so you don't miss anything.
And don't forget to stick around to the end of the video to hear our answer to the question. Is Path of Fire worth the expansion and worth your money?
I guess we'll talk about the story.
A few points that we kind of hit last time about Balthazar actually, and how he's kind of acting like a dragon, corrupting people. After going through the whole story and everything, I still agree he's kind of acting like a dragon, and even Joko in his monologue. So a little bit of spoilers here for those who haven't finished the story, but go play it, finish the story, or at least watch our misadventures of it.
Mm-hmm.
But in the monologue, he mentions he's seen gods and dragons come and go, and we're mad to have killed them, as they are the life force of this world. So again, tying kind of gods and dragons together, that's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. But do you remember when we died?
Yes.
How did you feel about that one?
Oh god, that was so that's when we go into the land of the lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually really liked that. I liked that was a way to sort of catch everyone. Well, first it was really disorienting. And I was just like, what the heck is actually going on? Because your character doesn't remember anything. Mm-hmm. And I liked that. It was a little annoying in that it took so long going through and getting all the information, but it made sense. But because I knew what was going on. I was like, why do I have to do this? I already know all these things, but my character doesn't and needs to remember who they are. And if you haven't played the core story or the Heart of Thorns story, then it is a good way to get you caught up, because you didn't have to have Heart of Thorns in order to get Path of Fire. So and I think a few people, as if there's only a few people in the whole community that did not play Heart of Thorns, but yeah. But if you did get Path of Fire independently from Heart of Thorns, then you did miss all that story and you didn't know some stuff. So, or if you hadn't even played the core story, Strace.
That call out.
then you do need that sort of recap, and that is good for people who need that. So I understand why they did it. The whole instance was really interesting because it was annoying just because I'm I already know this. I need to get back to the land of the living.
Mm-hmm.
But and I also had you and Forte there to prep me for the fight.
That's right, okay.
So I didn't have to experience the agony that it was, but it was a little difficult because I don't know if they've changed it, so when we go replay it I'll have to see. But at the time, you couldn't change your build. You couldn't access, you only had access to your weapons that you had when you went in, your inventory. Yep. And and that makes sense. But I was like, okay, well, if I need CC, I'm a druid. I have very little CC. So I was like, okay, well, I'll need to switch my whole build around if I need as much CC as possible. I'll need, these traits, I'll need these skills, I'll need these weapons. And I couldn't get the weapons. I couldn't get the gear. I had to keep my healing gear on, which was difficult. So, I had to make the best out of a bad situation in that case. And I managed to do it. At one point I did have to leave and not leave the instance, but run across the map and get away from the thing and let it reset so that I could change a couple more abilities. Because basically all I could go with was my longbow, because all I had on me was a longbow and a staff. So I had my knockback with my longbow. And then everything else I had was just utility and elite skills. So what did you think of the Path of Fire story?
The Path of Fire story by itself, I, for the most part, liked. I'm not sure I liked it better than all of Heart of Thorns, but it certainly felt more complete than Heart of Thorns. Heart of Thorns felt like there was a lot of things that kind of got dropped, especially like Duchess Chrysanthemum and things.
Mhm.
So having just kind of that whole complete experience, nothing felt really unfinished here, at least for me.
Yeah.
There were some design choices I didn't necessarily agree with, like that being unable to change your skills and needing CC for a boss that requires CC, and then not being able to swap to get CC. Yeah. I guess one regret would be I wish we had seen more of Blast, like actually seen him. We saw him for just a few brief moments.
Yeah.
So it felt hard to really appreciate how important he was to the story and just really, I guess, get attached to him, which also might have been on purpose, as he wasn't attached to people, which was sort of the whole reason he failed. One of the things we did, other than story, was roleplay spots. Really important for everyone, here, because roleplay is the most important game mode. I don't know if you guys know that.
Mm-hmm. When we're not actively seeking revenge or doing podcasts, we do actually still roleplay. I've done a lot of RP in Alona. I've seen a lot more RP in Alona. And we found some good spots. Like we had seen in the little demo area, a place a couple places in Amnoon, like on the sides of the pyramids, there were little like cutout apartment looking areas, which were really cool.
I was gonna say, since then, we found some others. One's actually in Amnoon, pretty close to a lot of those pyramids that have those. And it's just this really cute, like, garden patio. Or patio garden. What are words? It's super cute. There's a hammock. There's like a table with little pillows on it and like these coconut drinks.
Oh my
Super
gosh. That sounds super amazing.
The best place where no mobs can come bother you, because you have to go through a bunch of jackal portals to get to it, is that ghost city that floats in the sky over the highlands.
Ooh, yeah.
It's very pretty at night and just no mobs up there.
Yeah. Get wrecked, PvEers. Were there any other roleplay spots you wanted to talk about?
Nah, that's really it. We can talk about the minigame master, since I remember that was kind of a point of contention last time.
Yeah, the minigame masteries. Traumatized.
How much did you love the chef one?
I loved it so much. Like, that chef mastery point is, like, my favorite mastery point in, like, the entire expansion. Let me tell you, I hate it with the passion of 1,000 burning suns. I
thought you were about to say, I love crying, and boy, did that make me cry.
It's true! I cried a lot, and I screamed a lot. Mostly in voice chat with everyone else.
It was awful. Thankfully, we don't actually have to do those. So if you haven't done that yet and you don't want to, good news. You don't have to.
There are so many mastery points available. One is a memory puzzle.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that
which
one.
wasn't as bad. Compared to the chef one, not as bad. You just gotta figure out a way, a way to remember them. That works for you. And what I did is I actually like assigned each one a number, and like I was typing it in guild chat, like the sequence it went in, so that because once it got past like the fourth one, I couldn't remember them anymore.
Yeah.
So that helped me, and I got that fairly quickly once I started doing that.
Besides masters, I think the things that kind of bothered us last time were there were other that really concerned us were unidentified gear and karma tokens.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'll let you talk about the unidentified gear because that was a big thing for you.
So, originally, to identify unidentified gear, like in the beta for Path of Fire, they had these identification kits that were in basically like heartbenders and things. To basically, you could just salvage it straight without finding anything, or you could pay for these kits.
It wasn't even the kits, it was just, you would pay, I'd have to look back, and it was like almost 6 silver per item you were identifying.
Which is just so much more expensive than any of that stuff is going to be worth. Like, unless you happen to get a rare, it was going to be way over, like, 3 or 4 times what it would normally be worth,
Mm-hmm.
not 6, because I think some of those sell for under a silver.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, thankfully, they changed that. So now unidentified gear is what we have today, what everyone knows about. You just double-click the gear to identify it. It doesn't cost anything, it doesn't do anything, and then it's just, you have it all in your inventory, or you can just choose to sell a whole stack of it and let someone else identify it and take up their whole inventory space.
Alternatively, you could even salvage it.
I feel like if you're going to salvage it, you should at least click on it first to see what you're salvaging.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me personally. Talking about unidentified gear, that kind of leads into bounty rewards, since that was something I had said originally was lackluster in our original video, which I now have to say I disagree with my previous point, because at the time I didn't really see how many you can do and how quickly. Now that we have like the bounty trains, it's ridiculous. It's so easy.
Mm-hmm.
So that smaller amount certainly makes sense.
Enjoyed the bounties. I think the rewards are pretty good, especially if you're going to do some legendary ones and you get those mosaics, because then you can buy the funerary armor, the funerary weapons, and you can also get something that's an intact mosaic, which not only will help you change your gear stats, which is why I was saving them, but apparently you need those for crafting the new armor sets that they came out with recently. Especially when you get like on a train doing them, there's like achievements for doing all of them. There's chances that you can get some pretty good drops, just like doing like the world boss trains. I guess it's sort of almost like the world boss train, but for Alona. Your loot's not going to be the best in the world, but it adds up pretty quick. And they're just the bounties themselves are just so varied, and like each one has different mechanics that it's always something different. I just find them really enjoyable. I don't do them as much anymore as I want to, but I personally think they're really enjoyable. Link up in the corner if you want to hear my rant about why I hate Kaith and why she's the worst character in this franchise. Click up above.
Yep. So on to the fun and exciting mounts.
Mounts!
So raptors, I feel like that's where we should start,
Mm-hmm.
given that's what we had to start with originally.
Well, we also kind of like just talked a lot about raptors because that's all we knew back then.
But let's start with raptors.
Okay.
Idle animation's good. Still A+.
Mm-hmm.
All around, a good dog. How do you feel about it with the new mastery?
I was like, what new mastery? The Bond of Vigor?
Yes.
It's good. I don't think that Bond of Vigor is really terribly useful on a raptor because it already feels like it regens it pretty quick anyway.
It regens it even faster.
I know, but I mean, unless I'm racing, I don't really need it.
I do. All the time, constantly.
Do you really?
I love that bond. I do. I love that Bond of Vigor, actually.
Wow. Yeah, I only use it when I'm racing. Unless I'm using a griffin, and then I use it. And then I use it because that gives you the extra height.
I hate the Springer. It's ugly.
Okay, moving on. No. Idle animations for the Springer.
They're just, like, they kind of perk up and look around. That's
Watch
really
their
it.
little faces.
Oh, exciting.
What about their dismount ability?
It's actually one of the strongest in the game, I think, because it is such big CC.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the Skimmer.
Skimmer.
AKA the pancake.
Oh, the best pancake.
Before I got the Griffin, I used the Skimmer a lot for, like, low-key flying.
Same.
Over, like, a bunch of water, of course, but otherwise, again, kind of a more specialized mount.
Mm-hmm.
But adorable, with great animations.
I love the idle animations. My favorite is when it, like, pokes you with its tail, and you look back like, what? Who poked me? And then it's just sort of like, while you're looking around, it's just sort of like, ha 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 ha.
Yes.
Oh, I love it so much.
So let's see. This leaves the Jackal. It's not quite as good as the Raptor. It's a little more specialized, but otherwise it's fairly similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the Blink Dog. I like that a lot. Bond of Vigor, super useful in them.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Idle animations. I'm trying to remember
It doesn't
what
really
these
do
are,
anything. It just, like, sort of sits there and then howls. And the dismount is really good because it gives a lot of barrier.
Yes. and it's good for her to start a fight with too, unlike the pancake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Griffin. Griffin's the best. Its enter into combat skill isn't really super exciting. It just straight up does damage, but it looks really cool. What about idle animations?
It stretches and arches its back like a cat, and then it will like reach back and groom its like wings.
I really want to see it actually on that mount you have. The I don't remember its actual name. The Goblin Cat.
The Goblin Cat. Nightfang.
Nightfang, yes.
Bond of Vigor with the Griffin is really good because it gives you that extra height.
Yeah.
And it helps you not to descend as quickly, and that's really great.
Super useful, just all the time, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why Griffin's probably my favorite of the mounts, even still.
Mm-hmm. And then the last mount is the beetle.
Again, a very specialized mount.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way it looks. It's fun. The beetle's a lot of fun. But idle animations, I love its dance. It's so cute.
It is such like a cute little dance. And then your character is just like raising the roof while it dances. I love that.
As far as Bond of Vigor is great. Great with the beetle. My one kind of dislike about it is it can be hard to kind of keep up that speed.
Mm-hmm.
Bond of Vigor helps with that so much. Too much. It's too powerful.
I can still barely drive the beetle. It's ridiculous.
So, now we're at the end of our video.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time for Path of Fire versus Hot?
It is time for Path of Fire versus Hot.
I have to say that objectively, Path of Fire is on every level better than Heart of Thorns, and I loved Heart of Thorns. They tested a lot of things for Heart of Thorns, and I think they were able to just really refine and improve everything for Path of Fire. They found out what worked and what didn't.
A lot of things were already a thing, so they didn't really have to implement too many new things.
They just got to polish and really refine what they needed to put out, and I think that really showed.
Mm-hmm. They also, like, it didn't feel like they took their time, but, like, I mean, to be fair, they had been working on it since Heart of Thorns was released, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, I mean, I'm glad that they took their time, and everything just, yeah, like you said, just felt so much better than Heart of Thorns, and I was not the biggest fan of Heart of Thorns.
I enjoyed Heart of Thorns while I played it. Like, there were a few points where I was like, I wish this were different. And then for Path of Fire, they made it different, and it's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
I prefer Path of Fire. Like, I feel like the maps are better, the combat's better, the specializations are...
I disagree with them. If you're gonna say they're better.
I paused.
Okay.
I enjoy some of the specializations more, but I think that's just based on play style.
Yeah. Like, I love
Spellbreaker. I think they're better just because there's lore for them.
That's not enough for me to say they're better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really like Weaver personally. It's not my play style.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, between Reaper and Scourge, I don't know which I enjoy playing more. I unlocked Scourge, and I run with that now because it's the newest thing, and I have the things for it, and I'm like, well, this is me now. I'm not sure I'd objectively say it's better, though.
Yeah, like, I don't feel like... I really don't know why I even say that they're better, just because I haven't even played most of them. I've played Scourge, which is a lot of fun in PvP. I've played Mirage. Mirage is my favorite thing ever. And I think that's it. Those are the only two that I've played.
I've at least tried all of them. In any depth, I played Spellbreaker a lot during the beta because I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
I tend not to play Warrior in game. Maybe if I went and got those hero points to make my Warriors the Spellbreakers, that would change. But they're just kind of further down on the list. Then there's like the Ranger, like Druid versus
Soul Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are very different play styles. I personally prefer playing a Druid as opposed to playing Soul Beast, just because I prefer actually being the healer. like, and healing people. Also because I don't have to worry about healing other people, I can also heal myself more than just having a standard heal skill.
Whereas I like Soul Reaper, Soul Beast a little better, but that's the kind of quick damagey playstyles. Again, like Spellbreaker is something I like.
I like the fact that there are places where you can actually get out of combat and there's not things trying to kill you.
Every inch.
Yeah.
There is one place in Path of Fire that I dislike, and that is the brand. As beautiful as it is, I really hate the brand storms.
Yeah.
And trying to get around there. And certain vistas in that area.
Yeah, and you can't watch the vista if you're in combat.
And the thing is, they put mobs like right under it. So if you're trying to get up, you get attacked by the mob. You have to try and kill the mob. It's a little difficult.
Yeah, I also am not a fan of the Brandstorm. Like, it looks very impressive. It's really visually done well. But I don't want to go back there. Please don't make me.
What about armor and weapons between the two? Which do you think had the...
Oh god, I feel like Path of Fire had the better armor. And just so much more of it.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that I still don't even have all of it. And I think the only new armor we got in Heart of Thorns was the ley line armor.
No, we also got bladed.
I was going to say that, but
okay.
I hadn't got that far yet.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. The ley line, the bladed, but those are the only two I can remember. Oh, the Revenant armor.
Oh yeah.
Mist Ward armor.
Which is nice.
Not the weapons, which was something that I did complain about in the last videos, that we didn't get the Revenant weapons, but now we have some of them.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for the rest of them because they were such a great set.
One day.
The ones that came out are not ones that I actually use, so I'm not gonna use the bladed armor. Like,
on the heavy armor, that was a little much since it had like the blade right at the crotch. That was unfortunate.
And you gotta protect yourself when someone's gonna try and kick you in the dick.
I guess so.
Just cut their foot right in half. That'll stop them.
I mean, it would stop me, yeah.
God, it's just... It could have been so much better. Like, aside from, like, crotch blades, the armor isn't too bad. Well, okay. The heavy set is just a mess.
It is. I think we've talked about everything. I can't think of anything else.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Path of Fire is a worthy expansion and worth people's money?
Yes. If you bought Heart of Thorns, you definitely want to buy Path of Fire. If you didn't buy Heart of Thorns, you want to buy Path of Fire.
Whether or not you have Heart of Thorns, you definitely want to get Path of Fire. I would also, like, I would recommend getting Heart of Thorns, just because, like, it's, as much as I rag on it, it wasn't bad. Path of Fire was just leaps and bounds so much better. Let us know down in the description what you think of Path of Fire a year later. If looking back you would still buy it, I would still buy it. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Have a great rest of your day.
We will see you all next time. Bye.